Life is like a bus stop, or more appropriately, life is like the bus, just taking the bus. Really think with me on this one. Imagine the points of your life, no matter how mundane or minuscule they're all their own individual bus stops. Your life is the bus itself, and the path you're on at any given moment is the bus route. This metaphorical bus is the vessel of life from your perspective. It carries the people passively and actively in your life, and the bus symbolizes the path or route you're on. The bus isn't your existence or life in of itself, as you can get off the bus or take another bus at any point. The fare you pay is paid for either physically or emotionally or just the mental sacrifice that it takes. Think about when you're on a bus. It's not just you and your friends, it's lots of other people going on with their lives. There are parents going to public parks with their children, and there are elderly people going to Walmart. You don't know all of these people, but they're still a part of your life in one way or another. If you ride the bus often, as I did going to university, you'll start to recognize familiar faces. Maybe you'll share a nod, or maybe like a, "What's up?" or "What's up?" That could be the extent of your relationship with this person. Then one day you just may never see them again. This is like when you sit with someone in class and you have sort of this like classmate pseudo friendship relationship with that person only for that one class. But then after that class is over, you probably never speak to the person again. In a way, you both rode the same bus on the same route for some time, but now they've started taking a different bus on a different schedule. Every relationship in life, whether it lasts a bus ride or half your lifetime, is temporary, and that's okay. I think it's important to address the elephant in the room, and that is toxic people. People who are actively destructive and toxic in your life are people who slowly but surely just add nails to the tires of the bus that you're taking. And at one point, if it's not addressed, the bus will crash, the tires will pop, and the bus will be out of commission. This causes derailment and possible injuries. You may not realize the sabotage, but you will at some point. And they'll either end up being barred from transit, or you might end up just taking a different bus. Hell, they might end up taking a different bus, or going on a different route, or changing their schedule. It's best, honestly, not to reminisce on these people. Now comes the hard part, the part of acceptance. Saying goodbye for now, or goodbye forever in some cases, is the hardest part of life. Life may have gotten in the way since you're both on your own paths, your own routes. What are you going to do now that your old friend or possibly partner is no longer on the same bus as you? Well, you're going to continue living as you once were. It's the hardest part of this, but the reality of the situation is you still have to take the bus every day. If you just avoid taking the bus entirely, you're not living, and the bus will continue running on schedule with or without you. Except that you may not see the same people, but continue riding it. It's all part of the human experience. I've been very lucky to meet and surround myself with very hardworking, passionate, talented individuals who are some of the most nice and caring people, but we're not friends anymore. Maybe acquaintances at best. For some, we have a no contact policy for our own goods. But this doesn't take away from the time that we spent together or the lessons that we learned from coexisting. We meet a lot of people throughout our lives, and some stick around, some don't. But what are we to do to make sure that they always stick around? Be obsessive? Force interactions? Of course not. Being social, for me at least, takes a lot of mental energy. I have my own life's responsibilities. I have my own personal things to worry about, as has been very apparent on this channel. If you're still hung up on a past friend or a friendship or any kind of relationship and still can't accept things as they are, maybe it's time to focus on yourself instead of thinking about what ifs. There's only one person that's going to stick around with you for the rest of your life. That's you. The people in your life have to want, or enjoy being in your life. You can't force anyone to get on the same bus as you. The point I'm trying to make with this is that friendships and just relationships in general take a lot of effort. It takes effort to ride public transit. Sometimes you meet people that just want to keep that effort up, and that's awesome, you know? But this video isn't about those friends. You're likely watching this video trying to cope with feeling abandoned or lonely or unlucky. If someone in your life has stopped riding the same bus as you, you can still reach out to them. You can ask to schedule and make time for one another. And if they don't have the time to do all this, or they don't want to do all this, then what are you going to do? It's hard to think back on people in our lives and not think, I really wish we could have talked more, or if only I didn't say that one thing, without some sort of our own self-blame. There's a type of dread that comes with this. And social media plays an even bigger role in like exacerbating this than ever before. Now we can always see into other people's lives, whether or not it's through like a vlog or a snapshot or an Instagram reel. We can stay in contact all the time. We don't have an excuse to not check in on someone. But why do we need that? Why must we be constantly connected, almost obsessing over what other people are doing and how they're living? What makes their bus route so much more appealing? What makes their bus more appealing? Why must you imagine yourself on that bus with them, getting on and off at the same stops? In my case especially, why daydream on what could have been through the lens of what you're seeing on social media? Why can't we just let go and appreciate the time that we spent with someone and accept that it may not be forever? Think about the time you may or may not have spent with your grandparents, for example. Why must us in this chronically online generation try to live in delusion and try and latch on to something that isn't anymore? It's like eating a piece of candy or a banging shawarma or McDonald's fries and expecting them to be infinite or last forever. It's like having a bus that you really like riding, but one day it breaks down and in its place is a new driver. It's a new era now. The people that used to ride it may have found other ways to get on with their commutes. They may have found a different route. They may have found a different bus in general. You might not ever see them again. It's the discomfort of having things ending that's out of our control that is so, like, it eats you alive. It's why ghosting sucks. It's why like friend breakups suck. It's why breakups suck. But you had them in your life, right? You have the memories, the lessons, the experiences, and they'll be with you forever, even if they're really not. I don't know about you, but that's a lot better than being alone and isolated your entire life from like away from society. I once met a man on my way to university and we got on the bus together. I sat down before him and he was the last person aboard. No one was really letting up their seats for him. So I saw this guy kind of like being awkward and panicking. So I just lifted up my bag and just continued looking out the window, listening to music on my AirPods. He sat down, was very grateful, and then talked to me and continued talking to me. And I didn't want to talk to him because I was wearing my AirPods and it was the morning. I had a morning class and I was like, oh my God, this person on the bus is talking to me. But then I took off my AirPod and I talked to him. He was a homeless man living from shelter to shelter, trying to find a new shelter that would take him in. He told me his life story briefly, and he was, at least on meeting him, a very nice guy. He was self-conscious about how he presented himself and how he smelled. He was bilingual and well-spoken, and he was just wandering throughout the province to find purpose. When the bus ride was over, we shook hands. I said how much of a pleasure it was to talk to him, and I told him to be safe. And he was a very chill dude. I never saw him again. Our schedules, routes, paths, whatever it may have been, it's never lined up again. But that's okay. And I still think about him often. Although it was brief, that conversation stays with me forever. Be grateful to have met the people that you've met in your life, even if you no longer stay in touch. Be grateful to have even ridden the same bus together at some point in time. And yeah, that's all for this video. If you want to talk further about this, if there's any flaws in this or better like analogies, maybe something I missed, reach out and I'll respond to you. I'm not a big YouTuber. I'm just a guy living at home with his parents. Yep. Later, gamers. Ugh.